Good morning, it's Thursday, it's Blabbing for Britain with John and myself. Morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
It's good to see you here, and hope you make a quick recovery from your flu. Welcome to everybody who's joined us, and it's good to see you. If you want to join us on the air, then just press the call-in button, and you're more welcome to come and chat about anything and everything. Live on air, and of course this is going out to Facebook afterwards as well. I had an interesting chat the other night with Mike Alton. Mike wrote the book, The Unofficial Book of Hootsuite. It originally was called The Book of Hootsuite, and then Hootsuite complained and said you can't do that, so you have to make it unofficial. And we had a good chat for about an hour because he's got a new book out. This time the book is about promoting your blog.
All right.
And, how to do it, and it's full of hints and tips. And I bought the book, which prints this sum of £2.12 off Amazon, read it, and digested most of it in the afternoon. And we had a chat in the evening, which went very well. So a transatlantic connection this week with Mike, which also gave rise to a very interesting little chat with Jonathan Tripp, who'd been trying to get Mike on his show. And also, last November, I sent a message to Michael Q. Todd saying, would he like to come on Blab? That was last November. I got a reply
yesterday,
I got a reply yesterday saying, yes, I would. So, not to put too fine a point on it, Friday the 13th at 1 p.m. here on Blab. If you want to know anything about Bitcoin, then this is the place to be, because Michael's assembling a panel of people who know what Bitcoin is and actually use it on a day-to-day basis. I know nothing. I'm willing to learn. So that's Michael Q. Todd, week on Friday, 1 o'clock, everything about Bitcoin. And so that should be interesting too. Right, in Blab news, I haven't noticed anything, have you, John?
I've barely been on the last week, I'm afraid. So
right, okay. There's been no change to the platform. It's becoming more stable by the day. There's been no real announcements. There's been instance on some blabs of trolls, but they've been dealt with. And Blabber put a policy together, and there's a step-by-step guide on Medium as to exactly what should be done in case somebody does come onto your blab. Because the thing about blabs is that they are totally public, and anyone can join in. If you've got a Twitter account, you can just come and join in on air, and you press the call-in button and you can come and chat about anything and everything. Private blabs though, well, we don't know because they're private, but I can see that growing, and we're in exciting times. Did you see the post I put up the other day? Last night, in fact, you can actually see on a live map. It's facebook.com/live map. Will give you a list of everybody who's transmitting on Facebook Live.
Yeah, I saw you post on that.
Yeah, and it gives you a map of the globe, and you can zoom in on Australia or China or the States, and you can see who's blabbing in which city. Then you press their little circle, and you can actually watch and listen to them. So I was listening to a church service in the States, and then there's a dance over in Australia. It's just fascinating where people are actually using Facebook Live. So that's facebook.com/live map. I'll just type the hopefully I'll get this right. Looks okay. Yep. If you go there, then you'll be able to see everybody who's broadcasting live on Facebook, and it seems to be busiest around Southeast Asia. Australia's virtually nothing. There's nothing in the UK. There's a chap up in Doncaster, but that's Yorkshire, isn't it? So we'll say, you know, there are people in Yorkshire and people in Wales, and quite a few in London. But it's interesting to be able to pop in and out, and it's going. I can see this live video chat actually replacing TV to a certain extent, because I mean the Blab format where people can come on air and chat means that you can get involved in what's going on. in the world. Did you see the Formula One at the weekend?
No, I'm not interested in Formula One, so
Okay.
others might have.
Yes. In the first lap, Mr. Vettel was shunted from behind twice by the same driver, which ruined his race. And that driver has now he was racing for Red Bull, which is one of the prestigious teams. Today, he has been demoted to driving for Toro Rosso.
To the same owners for same owners for both teams, or
yeah, both teams. It's a lot of the teams are actually tied together. You've got the top level team, and then you've got the trial team. So people coming in and out of the trial team generally come in for 2 years, and if they make it, they get promoted. If they don't, they go back into Formula 3. It's a very competitive sport, and I've been following it for quite a few years. Right, okay. In the news today, Stephen, if you want to come and join us, by all means do so. Anybody else who wants to come in on air, please do.
Let the Talkinator in.
Well, we've got to find out what coffee Peter's drinking.
I've already asked him that question.
All right, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think anything else happening.
Well, there's some funny little East Midlands club win the Premier League, and then there's some funny Northern club win the Championship.
Football, yes. Definitely congratulations to Leicester, 5,000 to 1 at the beginning of the season, and only lost 3 times during the whole season, which is the form that Chelsea and Man U used to have. So it is quite an achievement on a budget, because the cost of the team way below that Manchester United, Chelsea, and Man City paid out. And the same can be said of my hometown of Burnley, who have won the championship. Well, no, that's preempting things a little bit, isn't it? They have been promoted.
Guaranteed promotion. I don't think they've won the championship yet, have you?
Yes, Burnley are guaranteed promotion to the Premiership. It's only 360 days since they actually left the Premiership, so it's good to bounce back at the first attempt, and shows the quality of the manager and the team. But if we win this weekend, we will be the winners of the championship, which is quite an achievement, really, for such a small town. I mean, the population of Burnley is only 70,000, and to be playing in the Premier League, well, that's where all the action is. That's where the money is. It's worth £100 million to the club.
Staying up that counts, of course.
Well, that's the trick that our friend Roger Vanstone's West Bromwich Albion have managed, because they used to be the yo-yo team. They used to go up, come down, go up, and come down, and now they're firmly ensconced in the middle of the table. I'm just trying to press a button at the same time as talking, and multitasking is not a strength. Morning, Peter. West Bromwich Albion used to be the team that used to go up and down with regularity. Burnley. This morning, Tescos French. 1 cup filter coffee, 5 cups. Yes, fair trade. Well, I'm impressed.
10 cups. That's the strength, isn't it? 5.
5 is the strength. Okay. Well,
lovely job. 5's the strength. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so how are things with you, Peter?
Well, I'm sitting here doing an audit that I've done in the pest control industry, and I absolutely hate doing audits, typing and thinking, and I just hate it. And I should get a PA over online to do it for me, really, and say, right, I can do that. Yeah, so I had a very, very good talk at my BNI with my 10-minute presentation. You can see that on the internet. It went down very well. And told you about my life from start to where I am now, and going forward. So very well.
Any biking?
Yeah, I did mention biking because one of the things I put up is my school. I don't know if did you know me last year? Did you know me last year?
No. I don't think so. I think we've met you since we started blabbing.
Okay.
Which I guess was tail end of last year.
Okay, well, what I done last May is I got a motor scooter and I got it all made up like a wasp. I had a big, and then a face at the front, and it was all thing, and I had my business name in it. And as I said yesterday, it got noticed. It got noticed by the thieves. They bloody stole it. And, we've got a bad problem in Aberdeen with motor scooters, and they wrecked it. And so what I'm looking, I've got an electric bike, and I'm looking to get another electric bike because the one I had before, I actually burnt it out because I used it so much. I'm now on to normal cycling, but for the city, to go in the city, I'm looking for one that's called a high bike, about £3,500. And I can cycle into the city. You could actually even go in a suit. You don't even break sweat. You still cycle. It's called petrol assist. And you go on your bike and you can go into a meeting non-sweaty. And I hope to get a little uniform and go about and just flee about the city. And it's still, because your legs are going, it's keeping your sugar level down as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I'll get some publicity standing out in the crowd. Because people used to say to me, I seen your motor scooter parked here. I seen it parked there. It was so noticeable. They'd actually broke into my garage. But somebody, and then when it was stolen, I put it on Facebook. We've got a local news bit here. And I put it out and people said, wait a minute, is this a bit of publicity by you, Peter? Because we know what you're like. I said, no, it's been stolen. It's actually been stolen. So people were looking for it and the name got known and stuff like that, you know. So it was good. Yeah. So what's new with you guys?
I've got the flu if you want it. I'll transmit it up the line.
Yeah.
And Stephen has got a new medal.
Yes.
What?
I've got a new medal, MEDL. One of my joys each year is to take part in the Neolithic Marathon, the Sarsen Trail, which runs from Avebury, Stone Circle, through to the Stonehenge Stone Circle. It's 26 miles, 385 yards. And I spend April training, and then on Sunday I set off to walk, not running, not that's not on, but to walk the 26 miles. So it was a reasonable day, and set off with Angelica accompanying me for the first 7 miles through the beautiful Wiltshire countryside, and that's the worst bit of the track because it's uphill and down dale, and then you go down into the village. Then you set off and you go across Salisbury Plain, which normally the MOD have closed because it's a firing range. So they only allow people through certain days of the year, and Sarsen Trail is one of those that's allowed through. So they open the gates to the firing range and they promise not to shoot, and you're allowed to walk. You're allowed to walk the 11 miles across Salisbury Plain and see things that. I mean, the thing about it is because nobody goes there.
No. Nature
has taken over the whole area, and it's sort of for the last 50 years, it's been untouched. It's certainly, you know, general populace has not been allowed there. So it's a great place to walk through.
Yeah.
And then you get to sort of 20 miles and your feet start to say, and your thighs start to say, hang on a minute, are you sure you want to do this last 6 miles? So, but I'm very fortunate this time. I met two ladies. I've done 25 miles, the last mile's the longest, and I met two ladies called Deb and Dee, teachers in Wiltshire. I never met them before, and we spent the last mile talking, and before you knew it, I was across the finish line.
Very all I can say congratulations.
Thank you.
See that Salisbury Plain story? I was in the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards, right? And my troop corporal in my tank was a guy called Glenn Crease, and his brother was Tony Crease, and he was the guy in the front of the pipe band when they'd done Amazing Grace. But you'll never believe what he has as a job now. He's still related to military, and his job is to look at wildlife in places like Salisbury Plain. Now, if there's an exercise going on and they've got tanks and troops running about, he can stop the whole exercise if a rare breed, a butterfly or an insect comes up, he can stop the whole exercise because of that. Is that not amazing?
That's totally amazing. And you're quite right to say a lot of protected species that aren't Salisbury Plain because nobody goes there.
No,
it's a nature reserve.
Yes, that's right. So his job is to make sure that you wouldn't believe that, and that's what he done. He was actually a bird lover, a twitcher, and he done that throughout his career in the army as well. And then when he retired, he got a job with the army looking after the land. So he really enjoys that as well. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I wouldn't have liked to be John Upton today, you know.
No,
he's like a Grinch.
Thank you very much.
They're cheering him up no end, Peter. I mean, right, okay. If anybody wants to join us on that, please do so. You're more than welcome. We're just having
we sort of strayed away from the topic of football, but I'd just like to nip back.
Should we
say that there's a lot of action happening in League One as well?
Okay.
We could get 2 Midlands clubs coming up to the Championship because it's still possible for Burton and Walsall to come up.
Oh, brilliant.
I have a suspicion, unfortunately, it will be Burton and that Walsall will have to feature in the playoffs.
Yeah, of course, that would be good.
But it's Walsall's best season for 22 years.
Yeah,
quite a long time.
So it's going back up north. One other team which we're making news is good old Accrington Stanley, the first football club ever to go out of business, and they're going to get promoted if all things go well from Division 2 to Division 1. So more power to them.
Is that League 2 to League 1?
Yeah, League 2 to League 1. Yeah, because Accrington Stanley are world famous. They've got songs written about them. And, you know, they came up through the leagues again and started from scratch. So that's good news.
And my local club, Solihull Moors, have been promoted to the National League, which is the league below the Division 2, League 2.
Yeah.
Which should be quite interesting because they were in the Midland combination 5 years ago. So
can be done,
4 leagues in 5 years.
Yeah. Can be done. Right, okay, I suppose for a moment we should visit Mr. Trump.
Who?
Donald Trump.
It's frightening. Do we really want to be frightened?
No, we've got to be. We have a balanced view here because my memory tells me that Peter is pro Mr. Trump.
Yeah. Well, I'm pro. The trouble is with Donald Trump is sometimes he doesn't see it the right way. He's actually wanting to do things for quite a bit of his nation, what they want. It's just the way he puts it across. Keep going back to this wall and say, well, instead of saying, look, we're going to have to address the immigration problem, we're going to have to address this, we're going to have to address it. The way he says it's just the way he says it. And that's the problem. But listen, he's there. The only thing now it's stopping him is Hillary Clinton or his own party. We don't want him there. Now, I reckon there's a lot of shenanigans going on when it comes to the actual vote, you know? Yeah,
because they've got the in convention in June, haven't they? That's when he's got the votes. He's nearly got all the votes he needs to walk through. And with Kasich and the other chappie dropping out, he's got a clear run at it.
And the Americans I've met when I met some Toastmasters over there, and I was quite surprised how much many of them are conservative, you know. And I didn't realise how much they hated Obamacare. You know? I couldn't believe it. And Obamacare, I've came from, look, I'm a conservative in my thinking. I've came from my life. I've never really been on the dole, and I've worked for what I've done, and I've went out there, I delivered milk and stuff like this, and I just take it for heart. So I employ people, but let me tell you something. I went to a factory the other day, and it says, "Can I just tell you something? Your guy says you're the best, one of the best guys you've ever worked for." Now, a lot of people have said that, because this is how you work it. You treat people with respect.
Yes.
And you think how they... I used to go to jobs that I absolutely hated. I hated going to. And I said, if I start my own business, I would treat people with respect. And I like a happy team.
No.
Happy Willie.
Willie drives me crazy, but he's part of my team. We just look after him. But I was away at a speaking thing the other week, and this guy was 149, I think it was. And it was 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 2, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 15. And this guy done it, his name's Steve Head, look him up.
Okay.
Steve Head, and he was into places, and there was a group of teachers, and all the focused one was the one that was wrong. And even when he went away for a break, he'd come back and a teacher had circled it and put in the correct one, because it's all. So when you got your work on Monday morning, say, and you're getting them lined up, okay, troops, right, let me tell you, see, last week you done this and you done that and it was wrong. Rather than say, hey, listen, with a great week, with a fantastic week, with increased our turnover, there's a couple of things we need to look at to make it even better. Can you see the difference?
Totally, yeah. I agree. Yep. Knocking people down is a one-way street.
Yeah.
I agree totally that we all need encouragement, whether it's from customers or from employers. Then we tend to do better when people actually encourage us to do things rather than telling us what we've done wrong.
Yeah.
It's like the sandwich, isn't it? If the sending a letter, you say, greetings, hello, it's good to talk to you again. Then you go on to the problem, and then you close it off. And you close it off by saying, thank you very much for everything you've done so far.
Yeah.
So the problem is you're actually wrapping the problem up with what you really want to say, which is, I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I was in ScotRail, and I was on Twitter. And I asked a few questions. Why is this blah 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 blah? Nothing in a nasty way. And they come back and replied, and then I replied back. And to finish, I says, "Hey, thanks very much. You've done a great job," because they explained everything. Now these people, all they get all day usually is a battering over the head of the commuter. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And they appreciate someone like that in a call centre or someone like that, how they've done well. But here's something that might interest you. I had someone on the phone yesterday, and it's a system that they can tell who's been onto your website. No, I know we all look at these things and say, right. But they know exactly who done it, and they've got the name of the person's. The person has probably called you, and they've found a way to find out who they are, and then you can get in touch with them in some sort of way.
Now that's gold dust.
Well, I'm having a trial of it. It's getting installed, and it means that I can. You people come to your website and you go away and they say, who are they? Why are they here? So they'll let you know who it was by tracing them back. I can't remember the name of the firm. It's Lead Trace or something like that. And you can find ways of getting back in touch with them without telling them you've been spying. Just in some sort of way. I don't know how you can do it, but they're going to tell me. So I'm quite interested in that, and I'm going to do the trial, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of a trial. You can see whether it works.
Obviously, the price is, I've got to see what price it is, and I've got another trial with pay-per-click as well with a friend of mine. He says, give me your pay-per-click, I'll do it, and they'll monitor what comes in and take it from there as well. So, John, it's something you might be at your sort of thing, isn't it?
Sorry?
The lead trace. But people come to our website, all you maybe get is
Candy.
What do you think?
Candy. That's the biggest people in that market. It's CANDI.
Right.
It's
Okay.
ID software.
Right. Okay.
But I still can't see how it works, because basically they track the IP address of the person who visited your site.
Yeah.
But there could be hundreds of people on the same IP address. So
yeah, well,
to see how it works.
They've got methods. I says, okay, I'll have a look at it. But when I asked for the price, I didn't get the price. They said, well, trial it first. But I can see if somebody was looking for my traditional job, right, my business, I could say, that person's looking. It's more than likely the facilities manager, or that. Then you can drop them a postcard, or you can drop in an email onto your, adding them onto something like that. Just a direct marketing response as well, in some sort of way in doing that without saying, I got your name this way. And it just, because I've just been looking at. Listen, if somebody else wants to come in, just say, do you ever get these emails coming in? Like, I've got Mankind, it's to do with shaving. Wouldn't interest John there, but do you know it works for me? Every so often, somebody will email me just to remind me of them, and they say, I need to buy more shaving stuff from them. Do you respond to that?
It's right place, right time, isn't it? I mean, if an email or an advert catches you when you're actually looking for something, or reminds you that you're looking for something, then it does work. Yeah. But it's hit and miss, isn't it? If you were sending things out, I mean, that's
to do it regular, and it's got to be at the same time on a regular basis.
Well, this is more. No, this is random. This is not a blog, and this is an email. Like Mankind, they do shaving, and they say to me, "We're missing you. Is there anything you need? Would you like to reorder that shaving stuff you got? Because I like a good shave, you see." And I'm, I'll maybe get some of that stuff. So yeah, it's working. It's working, and that's where I really, really am probably worst in my business. Just keep in contact with customers that I used to, do business with. So I'm looking at that this year just to thank them, and maybe put an email with me on it and saying, "Listen, thank you very much for using my business, a voice one, and I really appreciate a lot of local business getting your business."
Yeah, indeed.
Have you done anything like that yet?
Peter, have you met Alan? Alan, have you met Peter?
Hello, how do you do?
Hello, what are you doing?
Alan's at the opposite end of Britain to you. Is it Hampshire where you are?
Sussex.
Sussex.
Yeah.
But you go to the Hampshire's coming from University of Southampton. That's where I'm getting the Hampshire from. And Peter's up in Aberdeen.
Yeah, hi, how do you do? I was going to ask you guys a question on this topic. How do you feel about retargeting? Does it annoy you, or does it? Do you find it useful?
John?
I just sort of get bored with it and ignore it, if you like, really, Alan. I think that's the truth.
Yeah. I wasn't suggesting it. It's just that I see quite a lot of it, and I'm just sort of wonder how other people, what your emotional response to it is.
Yeah. Can you give us some examples, Alan?
Well, if you go onto a website, say you go onto John Lewis and you look at a food processor, and then you go onto Facebook, the advert follows you around. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mike Turner, he's very pro retargeting, and he got our friend the chocolate man Dan to do some retargeting, and Dan said it's been a benefit. So
yes, I would think it was. I mean, you have to turn it on at both ends. You have to turn it on at the Google end, and you have to sort of activate your own site so that it sends the signals out. The problem that I have is, as I say, I've been sort of learning all this stuff for teaching it, and now I have to sort of come down and spend some time actually trying to put it into practice to see how it works, because there's I've had no time to do that for the last few months.
Well, I get a lot of retargeting, and let me tell you one. I'll give you the name of it. It's CD Mount. Have you heard of that, folks?
No.
Right. One British invention of the year. Now, I'm a gadget man, and I was telling Sergeant, remember the Sergeant, traffic Sergeant, what this does is it goes into your CD. It's a CD Mount, and you can put a phone in it, your sat-nav, and what it does is takes it down away from the windscreen, so your windscreen's completely clear.
Yeah.
And it is. Now, I've bought 3 of them. And I'll maybe come back up again, CD Mount, and I put in. And I say, well, wait a minute now. My partner hasn't got one in her car. Maybe I'll get one for her for a birthday. And then I got a hired car that I hire a long term now. And that CD Mount, it doesn't fit in that one. It's just the way it's the Ford Focus or whatever it was. And I wrote to them and I said, are you doing anything about this type of car? He says, watch that space. And it's an absolutely fantastic gadget, no? And you can still play your CDs as well. Because I'm sick of licking things, putting them on, and then fall down and stuff like that. And it is. I don't mind them retargeting them. It just reminds me that I've got another one is a chap called Andy Harrington, who's in this. I don't know if you've heard of him, guys. He's in the speaking field, and he targets me all the time, retargeting. And I'm one of these guys. I'm an impulse buyer. Now and then I say, "Yeah, I'm going to have that." So it does. And for a business, just remind me how you retarget again as a business. My business. How would I retarget again?
It's all about pixels and cookies.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I sort of came in to ask the question, because it leads on to what you were talking about earlier, because basically what they're doing is tracking a cookie in the same way that retargeting does. At least that's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
I would say it works, because I'll tell you another one, Richard McCann, the speaker, he retargets people all the time, and he's building up a fair amount of work through it.
Yeah.
See,
so ignore it at your peril.
It can be negative because I still get a washing machine from John Lewis's, a dishwasher from John Lewis's shoved under my nose, and I bought it 2 months ago, and it's been installed by John Lewis, but they still persist in showing me this damn dishwasher.
That's the gap, isn't it? There's no cross between the actual sales department and the marketing department. Ideally, those two should be linked. So if you bought something from Amazon or John Lewis's, then you shouldn't be showing it again.
Yeah, well, same as it ever was.
So somebody's bound to come out with an anti-retargeting target.
So, Alan, are you planning to retarget your fruit trees or?
It's interesting, actually. I've been doing some work with sponsoring some clicks within Amazon to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And I've had to take kaffir lime leaves off because that's all anybody wants to buy. You know, they're not interested in spinach. They want these bloody kaffir lime leaves to make Thai curry with. So I can tell you this. I get a click for every 260 impressions, and I get a sale for every 6 clicks. So.
Oh, wow.
Such as it is. However, unfortunately, they haven't planted enough of the buggers out, so I haven't taken them down for the moment. I've also, it's interesting, of course, in Amazon, you can only sponsor the things if you've got the buy box. So I was basically going to have a bit of a push on the slug doom, but sorry, PC, you don't know. Although most of what I do is basically sort of teaching and creating knowledge products and doing advice. I'm chairman of our family horticultural business, which basically sells plants and online. But we also have a small business, small subsidiary business too. Actually, one basically grows organic veg, which is what we're talking about here, and one which basically sells predators as organic pest control. So that's what I'm flippantly referring to as slug doom. It's nematodes to take out the slugs.
Very interesting. Do you know the one thing? I've got a pest control business, Alan.
All right.
I've got a pest control. And the one thing that we really can't get off is slugs inside a property.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. You come up with something really good for that.
I think the issue that we have is what we're effectively selling are nematodes, and they live in the soil. Yeah. So they wouldn't work. They wouldn't work inside a business, inside a building, because the environment's not suitable for them.
Yeah. What we do use is a yeast product that was sprayed.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Yeah. And that seems to work. But it is the bane of my life, slugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid the nematodes wouldn't do much. But just to sort of go back to the wider point, unless you've got the buy box in Amazon, they won't let you sort of sponsor the terms. So I have to go back and look at my numbers and see how close to the edge I'm prepared to go to take one of the other people out. Amazon's a very interesting environment to sell in. You can learn quite a lot from it, I think.
Yeah. I've never really been a product seller, but I've got a new one for Housemartins.
Yeah.
I can sell it all over Britain. Stocks and land in the corners of roof, etc. And so it went quite well. I've installed a couple of them. Well,
yeah.
And it's worked quite well.
That would probably go quite well on Amazon, actually, because the sort of Amazon demographic is quite gadget orientated, it seems to me.
So I think that would be okay. I'm just looking at your sign. Is that the Eiffel Tower you've got there? Yeah,
it's basically it's the Eiffel Tower as a sort of CND sign. Somebody did that after the Paris bombings, and I sort of changed my my Facebook sort of picture to do that, and I've been sorry, I'm gonna have to go. They're summoning me from the other end.
Okay.
All right, take care, guys. See you. Bye.
Nice meeting you. Next for execution.
No, we're not. We don't do that. We treat people gently, Peter. You know that. We try our best. If anybody wants to come on air, in fact, what I'll do to make it easier for people to come on air is I'll say thank you to everybody who's been watching this morning. I'm now going to finish the recording, and we can all relax and just have a natter once I can find the pause recording button.